Success means different things to different people. For some, it's the amount of money sitting in their bank account to be able to label themselves millionaires. Others, it's the amount of trophies and the medals that they have. And then there's those who label it based on their impact on the world and the people around them. Regardless of what you deem success to be, I consider it as reaching a point of significance in the things that you are most passionate about. Anyone can become successful, but you're literally going up against everyone else who is passionate about the same thing that you are. There are certain habits that all successful people have which make them surpass the rest regardless of what you're trying to accomplish. The first habit, and always the most important, is goal setting. If you don't know where you want to go, how do you know what you need to do? Imagine wandering through a forest without a map or a compass. The odds of you reaching your destination is almost nothing. Imagine a pilot trying to land a plane in a right destination and they don't have the right coordinates. This analogy holds true with everything we do in life, but most of us are happy with mindless wandering. Without goals, we're just wandering through existence, living a life of unhappy retrospect. I was listening to a speech by Brian Tracy the other day, and he was talking about the Harvard Goal Study. Now, in this study, out of the population, there was 3% who had actually written down their goals. There was 13% that hadn't written it down but could recall it, and the rest hadn't even thought about their goals. When they followed up with these people years and years and years down the track, they found that those 13% that had known their goals but hadn't written it down had earned on average double the income of the remaining people. The 3% that had them written down had earned on average 10 times the amount that everyone else had earned. Yeah, sure, you're busy, you don't have 10 minutes to write and read over your goals, but what are you busy doing? Accomplishing nothing? Everyone talks about wanting to be successful, but are too busy to write down their goals. If you're too busy to write down your goals, where are you going to find the time to actually achieve those goals? Let me tell you about when I first started doing this. I knew what I wanted, I knew what the end product looked like, I knew the house, the cars, I knew the body, the family that I had. But that was it. When I started writing down my goals in depth and reading over them in depth every single day, these things I had written down started happening very, very quickly. These 5-year plans happened in 2 years, these 2 years plans happened in 1 year. I'd made more progress in just a couple of years than I'd made in my whole life. By consistently writing down your goals and reading over them, you're activating your reticulating activating system. This literally sharpens your focus and perception towards opportunities aligned with your aspirations. This is pretty much the science explaining manifestation. We talk about manifestation all the time, but what actually makes it happen? This is what makes it happen. But your brain needs to know what it's looking for to find those things. You see a great restaurant and you see a nice meal coming out for you to eat. I see a restaurant and I see the decor, the systems in place to get those meals out efficiently and of a high standard, the concept and the marketing behind it that made me turn my head, how the staff are treating the customers. I've conditioned my brain to see the things that are going to direct me to my goals. I am never passively moving. Now let's talk about habit number 2. Successful people take responsibility over their own lives. They're never the victim, they are the cause and the solution. I want to repeat that again. They are never the victim, they are the cause and the solution. Successful people are in control, they don't leave it to other people. Jocko Willink wrote a book called Extreme Ownership, which literally is about taking ownership of situations that arise. This is what leaders do, and leaders are successful. Taxes are not the reason why you are poor. Your earnings and your spending habits are the reason why you're poor. There's this podcast called How I Built This by Guy Raz, which is about entrepreneurs and how they found success. During COVID, businesses were tested, some faltered while others flourished. I would hear so many people complaining about the situation every single day. You would hear about companies shutting down and blaming the government. I'd put on this podcast and I'd hear story after story of companies that grew more and more throughout these times than they had ever before in their whole business lifetime. I took over 2 gyms during this time from people who couldn't handle the pressure and were losing money. I turned them around and made them profitable within just a couple of months. We doubled down on our marketing and our services and built clientele from people who were restless to work out because every other local gym around them had given up and closed down. Those people told their friends who became members, and when COVID ended, they were so loyal to us that they never went back to their old gyms. I keep seeing these gyms periodically shut down because they were never able to come back from that, which continues to feed more and more people into ours. Now, here's a subtle little trick that I want to give you when we're talking about taking responsibility within a business setting. Instead of using the word I, use the word we. This subtle shift includes your entire team and gives them ownership. It sets the example that you are the one taking the responsibility, while lessening the blow on yourself by collective accountability. It empowers your staff by showing the work they do also impacts the big decisions of the company, but without the confrontation that someone feels when they're being singled out. The next habit I want to talk about is the appetite for self-development. Do you know what's interesting? You'd think that the people with the most questions are the ones that know the least. I mean, why do they ask so many questions? Surely that means they don't know anything. They're the ones that score the highest on tests and grow the fastest throughout the company. But then what about the people that don't ask questions? Surely that means that they know everything, right? Then why aren't they the ones making millions and running successful businesses? You need to be asking questions. You need to be obsessed with learning. You need to constantly be finding out more and more and more, growing yourself more and more and more. If you listen to Joe Rogan, you probably wonder how he knows so much about so many different things. His job is literally asking people questions who are the best in their field. All right, so what if you can't find these people and actually get in front of them to ask them these questions? What do you do then? Read their books, go to their seminars, watch their videos. Have you watched a video of someone with millions of subscribers? They look pretty good, don't they? And what's crazy is they keep getting better and better and better. Then there's those channels that don't do so well and they just don't look as good. You wonder why? There's so many parts to making a video, from the quality of the content, the duration of the video, the sound quality, the image quality, the basic editing, the post-production work, the thumbnails, the title, the use of keywords and hashtags. That's a lot of stuff to learn. Imagine how good you could get if you learned about each of those things in great depth. You would imagine that you would be more successful than the other people that didn't learn those things, right? I have a tip for you. I want you to keep a notebook or a list that you can keep with you and you can add to it every single day. Whenever something comes up that you don't know the answer of or you're not sure about, write it down. Don't look it up right away, because then you miss out on the context of it. Then you miss out on all the other potential lessons that you can learn in the task you're currently doing. When you have some free time later, pull out that list and look it up. Don't scroll through Instagram. Don't go through YouTube. Look up the things that you need to find out about. Be obsessed with learning and be obsessed with progress. Finally, self-discipline is the thing that allows execution. It's the thing that drives early mornings and late nights. Every decision to work on a dream instead of allowing distractions to get in our way. You know your dream, but when the work needs to be done, are you going to do it? You're tired and you just want to go to sleep, but are you going to do the things that you need to do to get the things that you want to get? When you see everyone else around you going out, having fun, enjoying themselves, are you willing to put yourself in isolation and do the work that needs to be done? Are you willing to grind day in and day out in order to make an impact on the world? If the answer is no, then forget about it. Forget about the first 3 habits. You're not going to make it. In the end, success isn't the thing we end up with, but the person we become. The world can take everything away from you, but if you become a successful person, you will always get it back. Don't wish to make a lot of money, wish to become the person that makes a lot of money. Take these habits, let them grow and imprint on you. Go out there and live your potential.